Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to turn on the touch swipe functions on the Fuji X-T4. Now this is a function that allows you to swipe along the back of your touch screen. It's a setting that is not on by default. So what we'll show you in this video is how to turn it on, some of the functions that are the default functions for this, and then also I'll direct you over to my other video in the description below, where if you want to see the different functions that you can actually assign to the swipe function, you can check out how to do that as well. Now, this is off by default, and actually I think it's a good thing that it's off by default, because I'm new to the Fuji system, and of course when you're first starting out with your camera, you want to check out all the features, you want to turn everything on, and you're excited to use it. I had turned that function on, and you sometimes will do it inadvertently because you think, oh, the touch function should be on, but the swipe function is different than the touch screen function in terms of functionality for going through pictures and that. So I'll show you that in this video as well, and I'll let you know, I think, why you should have this function off. I'm not a fan of the swipe function. If it is on, what happens is you inadvertently, sometimes carrying your camera, you'll brush against it, you'll turn on a setting, and I'll go through what is some of the defaults and some of the frustration that I had when I and some of the things that accidentally happens when you have this on and not realizing it. So it's, I think, a bit of a gimmicky function, although there is one feature in regards to the level, and I have done a video on how to access and show the different horizon levels, and one of those is actually only available with the touch swipe function. Kind of silly, I don't know why, but we'll show you that. We'll show you how to turn it on, like I said, and I'll show you the default functions, but more importantly, if you do put it on, some kind of tips and tricks on making sure if you accidentally swipe something, how to get back out and how to correct it, and most importantly, how to turn off the touch swipe function on the Fuji X-T4. So let's get into it. Okay, by default on the Fuji X-T4, the touch swipe function gestures are turned off on the camera. So when you first buy your camera, this setting is actually going to be off. What the touch function settings do is, by default, if you have it turned on, let's show you how to turn it on first. You would go to menu and then scroll down to the wrench, over to button dial settings, and then on the third page there's a touch screen setting. Now, if you want to turn on your touch functions, it's the one here in the middle, and I have it off. Let's turn it back on and we'll show you the functions. So on, and then you go back, and now what will happen this is by default, what will happen is if you swipe on your screen, if you swipe up, the histogram will show. To turn it off, you have to swipe up again. If you swipe left, this is what's called the sports finder mode. So what this actually does is it does a 1.25 crop, so it will kind of zoom in electronically on your subject. This is the one feature that kind of frustrated me when I first turned it on, because what it does is it takes away the ability to shoot raw, and you're just shooting a medium size. It does shoot a smaller image, and if you didn't kind of know what you've swiped when you're if you're holding your camera the wrong way, is what happens is you're taking the wrong type of photos that you're really wanting to, and you don't really know how to turn this setting off. The only way to get this sports finder mode off that I found, again with the touchscreen, you have to swipe it again to the left. So sports finder mode off. This is where the touchscreen kind of gets very frustrating, is if you accidentally touch it, you can activate these functions. And now if you go right, what this does is it creates larger icons and up. See, this is where the frustration comes with the touchscreen, because it doesn't always work, I find, when you're trying to possibly turn on your autofocus. Let's turn the autofocus off. There we go, we'll reset this. Now we should be able to access. This is why I think this is off by default. So swipe right now, you can see how the icons get bigger. That's fairly handy. Swipe again. But again, if you have your autofocus on, see what happens is it changes everything. So back to small, go back to center. And then the last one is if we flick down, this is the electronic level. And we had that before, so flick down again. So as you can see, even as I kind of had done it on this video, it's just not the most intuitive, and it kind of can screw up your camera a little bit. If you're trying to access something, you might accidentally not swipe in the right spot. It moves your autofocus around. So I would recommend really just having this, either leaving this feature entirely off, or you can give it a try, but this way at least you know how to turn it back off, is going down to the wrench and back, button dial settings, down to the third page, touchscreen settings, and let's turn that off. So that will just turn off the functions of the touchscreen functions. You can still have your regular tap to focus set up, like so, as we go to take pictures. So that's all going to be there. Also too, if you're checking back and reviewing images in your image playback, you can still swipe with that. It's just this setting only takes off the function settings. So I recommend leaving that function. Comes as default off. I recommend leaving it off. Hopefully you found that useful. If you did have any more questions on the Fuji X-T4, I'm new to the Fuji system coming over from Sony. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. I'm learning this as I go as well. So it's always great when viewers will ask me a question. If they have a new Fuji camera as well, I can do a bit of research, kind of learn. I possibly have had that issue before. Let me know down in the comments. It's always appreciated. I'll get back to you. If I don't answer it in a video, I'll be sure to answer your question in the comments as well. So thanks for joining me. If you want to check out other videos, I will link them at the end of this channel. But before you go, if you watch this far, hit the thumbs up button. And if you want to see more videos on Fuji X-T4, but also some photography, general photography tips, please consider subscribing, and we will see you in the next video.